Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Brooke, come here. You want to know what's up, right? We found out what's making your family sick.
It's really bad, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
They're going to die?
We're working real hard to make sure that doesn't happen, okay? Listen to me. If you ever want to know what's happening, or how your family is, you ask me. We'll tell you everything we're doing and why. All these doctors and nurses, they can be scary. But not nearly as scary if you know what's happening, right?
How's she doing?
She's just a little girl, Stephen.
I'm glad she has you, Ned.
Excuse me, who's in charge here?
I'm Dr. Stephen Connor. This is Dr. Natalie Durant with the NIH.
Paul Maloney, FBI. Nice to meet you. Where are we here?
5 known patients, all in various stages of disease, all isolated here. We're about as contained as we can be right now. Our vaccination protocol is in motion. Any of your agents not up to date should be first in line.
I hope your vaccination is the right weapon for this fight.
You have reason to believe that what we're up against isn't naturally occurring?
Take my word for it. There is nothing natural about this guy's work. Joseph Howard Lasker. He's been on our subversive watch list for some time.
What's his story?
Classic case. Disgruntled, unstable biochemist who eventually was fired during an information leak scandal and then disappeared into the Montana countryside faster than you can say Theodore Kaczynski.
Domestic terrorist?
Mm-hmm. Our Montana field office told us he was last seen associating with an unidentified Native American. We had them under watch, but they slipped us about 2 months ago.
Lasker would have to have a sample of the smallpox virus in order to grow it.
Mm-hmm.
If he was able to manufacture the virus, then the 2 families might be Lasker's first victims.
Are your patients strong enough to be interviewed?
He had an RV.
We sat around the campfire one night.
He lent us some jackets when it got cool that night, and he gave us chili.
And apparently smallpox.
Which can be passed from person to person through objects, food, touch, any number of ways.
Brooke.
Infected? No.
She misses all of you.
She's a strong, smart little girl. And she has some very good people watching over her.
Did Lasker mention where he might be heading?
Can we use some sparks?
He told us about some he thought the kids would like. But he didn't act like he was going there.
Did you notice anything strange or unusual about him?
There was one kind of weird thing.
What was that?
We had an RV, but he didn't stay in it.
What do you mean he didn't stay in it?
We rented a cabin right near the Becks.
Yeah. Me and Anthony were playing around Mr. Lasker's cabin the whole time.
My science team can be here in 2 hours. We'll take that cabin apart.
We can do it now. A family on vacation would be the perfect carriers.
They get the virus, carry it to an amusement park the guy points them to. They spread it there.
And suddenly we have an unstoppable epidemic on our hands.
There's no obvious signs of a lab here.
Lasker traveled in an RV. But he sleeps in here, in the cabin. Because the RV is the lab. But it's also a cover that allows him to pass himself off as an average, regular guy who loves camping. Someone who can move freely amongst his potential victims. He shares his food and his gear with these people. Using any of those objects to contaminate them, then he moves on, takes his lab with him, and leaves nothing behind that can connect him to the virus. Lasker probably never cooked up anything in here. This cabin, it's not our answer.
My guys sent me a photo they downloaded from the Beck's digital camera.
The plate on the RV is readable.
Yeah, it's definitely Lasker's. We've initiated a nationwide search for it and him.
Okay, Brooke. This is a vaccination to keep you from getting sick.
I hate shots.
Me too. But my patients tell me I'm pretty good at giving them. I promise you'll hardly feel this, okay?
Then can I go and visit my mom and dad?
Your mom, dad, and brother need a lot of rest right now, and so do you. But just as soon as they feel up to it, I bet you'll be the first person they ask to see. Here we go. It wasn't that bad, huh?
Miles is vaccinating the hospital staff and the FBI. Brooke's taking care of two.
How's she doing?
Hanging in there.
How are you doing?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little scared.
Amen to that.
Any results from the PCR?
I haven't been able to identify the specific smallpox strain. Hopefully the FBI will have better luck.
Hopefully we can find the guy making this before it gets any further.
Hey, I just got off the phone with a tribal sheriff who patrols the Akashic Indian Reservation west of here. He said they found a dead body on their land with the same pustules on it we described in our health alert. Stephen, we don't have the smallpox contained.
It's definitely smallpox.
Never thought I'd see this day.
It's clear he's been dead for a while. But with his exposure out here to the elements, it's impossible to know for how long. One thing I do know for sure is his pustules are identical to the ones on the smallpox victims. Sure, I'm glad you called.
I did it against the wishes of our council. They wanted to keep it within the tribe.
With smallpox, we're all eye to eye with a common enemy.
You ever seen him before?
No, he's a stranger, but he's Native American. He looks like a homeless man. We got a lot of that.
You ever seen this man before? His name is Joseph Lasker.
I've seen him a few times on the reservation. Last time was about 2 weeks ago. His RV was parked in the forest near the foothills up north.
Sanders, take a team, do a search, see if anyone knows where he went. We suspect that he may have been traveling with him.
Lasker had a passenger. He was Native American, medium built like him. They couldn't say it was the same man. Is there a criminal investigation I should know about?
We think Joseph Lasker may be spreading smallpox intentionally.
To Indians?
To everyone. 5 campers in isolation, all diseased, just like him.
You'll have our full cooperation. I'll send some of my officers with your men.
You might want to ask them if they heard gunshots. Maloney. This man didn't die of smallpox. There's a bullet hole in his back. This man was murdered. You got it.
Cidofovir, as promised. How are they doing?
Vitals are falling, temperature's up. You're my hero.
Thanks for the book.
I was worried you had read Harry Potter already.
Just the first one. In school. Have you seen the movies?
No, are they good?
Really good. And did you take your kids?
I don't have any kids.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Why don't you lie down, honey?
Mm-mm.
I don't blame you. Cold room, cold sheets. I think you need a stuffed animal, like a gorilla. Or an anteater.
Can I visit my mom and dad and Anthony?
You can't go in there, honey. I'm sorry.
Not go in. Just get closer.
What's in my father's mouth?
It's an endotracheal tube. It's a tube that helps him breathe.
Is he asleep?
Yes. When the body's sick, we sleep so we can heal.
So he's healing?
The wound in his back was small caliber.
Maybe a 22. We'll know more when we pull it out.
If he was Lasker's partner, why murder him?
Maybe mishandled whatever vial of smallpox they had. He gets sick. Lasker doesn't want him around.
And couldn't risk having him going to a doctor. I'll have his picture put in the facial recognition national registry and his prints digitized and in the computer in D.C. ASAP.
You think your tribal chairman gonna give you grief about letting us take the body?
Probably. But I'll just tell him you stole it.
Mr. Beck's been on the Cidofovir 2 hours. His temperature's gone up.
What about the others?
Kevin and his son Jeff are more alert. So's Anthony Beck. I think they're responding.
What about Ellie Beck?
No change yet. I can't tell which way she's headed.
Duran. I'll be right down.
This way. Put the body up here.
This John Doe is still just that. No fingerprints on record anywhere. He's not in anybody's system. He's never been arrested, never been in the military. As far as we can tell, he's never even applied for a driver's license. This guy doesn't exist.
What about the face recognition database?
We're running the program, but it takes time. I'm counting on you guys. Whatever you find, we gotta ID him.
That the bullet?
It's hard to tell. I'll have the FBI make an ID.
Doesn't look like he got much in the way of dental care. His teeth are in terrible shape. I bet he's never been to a dentist.
Well, some people are scared of dentists.
Who isn't?
You do floss, don't you?
Religiously.
I don't see any other unexpected wounds to the body. Just the obvious bruising.
Steven, look at this. Seems to have fractured his tibia, but it healed badly.
Maybe he didn't like orthopedists either.
Here's your John Doe's x-rays. What do you see?
That's all.
They're fragments of some kind.
It's not bone, though. The tibia is intact.
What then?
Maybe the fragments got lodged into his leg when he fell. Making any progress?
The face recognition was a dead end. Now we're trying to match fibers on the clothing.
Excuse me. Connor. Yeah, but right there. Mr. Beck is coding.
I'm coming.